I thought Army would be presenting first because their equipment was all rigged up already. But anyway, you can see, well, of course, my greetings to all the alumni of Army, Navy, and Air Force, and our guests here, family. I'm very proud to say that my family is almost complete here, except for one. My son, who's a city councilor, and he has to go around and do his obligations, visiting all kinds of Christmas parties. But I have everybody here, my wife Nati, my daughter Guada, and husband Mike, and children Arby, Mikey, and Robbie, and Belle, the wife of Councilor Rico. Belle is here, and their daughters Ariel and Erica. 5 grandchildren. I should get an award for having an almost complete family. And since I should be getting the award, that means Navy gets the award over Army. Well, you can see our first slide here. I was looking at the first slide of Army because we had a glimpse of the first slide. I thought that was a very unfriendly slide. You know, showing Army, this Army football player running all over Navy. And you can see the sharp contrast in our presentation. We are more civil, we are more friendly, in keeping with the Navy tradition. I don't know about Army, but I think you should be more friendly next time. But of course, I can understand the feeling of hostility that has been seething inside you because you've been losing for 7 straight years already, and that's of course understandable. So may I make my presentation? You know, we had an Annapolis graduate who ran for president in the United States, and he almost made it. He lost by a few points, so another guy became president. But I was surprised, if you look at the structure of the US government right now, you would think that it was McCain who won. And I'll show you why. Well, first, we have a very prominent senator, a Democrat senator from Virginia. He's very prominent in international affairs, and he's a graduate of the US Naval Academy, class of '68. I don't know if West Point has a counterpart for Senator James Webb in terms of prominence. I know that there's one senator from West Point, but he's rather very quiet. Next, the head, the #1 guy in the US military is another Naval Academy graduate. And his name is Admiral Michael Mullen. He's the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, USNA, class 68. So a lot of West Pointers are reporting to an Annapolis graduate, which is quite surprising. It's almost like McCain was the one who won because it's an Annapolis graduate at the top of the military team. And then the director for National Intelligence, the #1 intelligence man in the United States today, controlling a vast intelligence infrastructure, is again another Annapolis graduate, not West Point, not Air Force, but Annapolis. Can you imagine that? It's almost like McCain was the one who won. He is a USNA graduate, class of 1968. And if we go at a higher plane, this time aerospace, you know, the future of mankind is in aerospace, according to them. Who is the head of NASA right now? Not West Point, not Air Force. You would think that Air Force would be getting it. He's another Naval Academy graduate, class of '68, General Charles Bolden, United States Marine Corps retired, who happens to be the company commander during my youngster year of our company, 23rd Company. So I know this guy very personally. He was a boxer. Just a side comment. We fought for the Brigade Boxing Championship in 1968. This was in 1968. I'd like to just review this for those who have not seen this. You know, West Point is honored. You know, considering the very lofty stature of West Point, the city of Quezon City honored West Point by naming a street after West Point. Can you imagine West Point in the largest city in the Philippines with its own street named after West Point? And you can see the area. You can see the houses there. This one, it reminds me of some of the buildings in West Point, dark and somber looking, in keeping with the very militaristic tradition of West Point. And not to be outdone, Annapolis also has its own street. This time it's not in Quezon City, but it's somewhere in San Juan. And well, just for comparison, let's look at what kind of buildings can be found on Annapolis Street. Oh, those are the buildings. Let's go back to West Point. Oh, that's West Point. That's Annapolis. More of Annapolis Street. Annapolis. Okay. And you know, the name Annapolis and West Point are so prestigious that some business establishments named their companies and their establishments after Annapolis and West Point. And I'll cite some examples. We have Annapolis Wilshire Plaza. There's Annapolis Seafood Palace, a very popular restaurant, very classy. And not to be outdone, there's also another outfit, this time named West Point. West Point Neuropsychiatric and Drug Testing Center. So let's give a big hand to Annapolis and West Point for lending their good name to very respectable business establishments in the country, especially this one, because you know this is very critical. Maybe a lot of drivers are tested by West Point. So if we have some drivers who are not up to par, maybe we can blame this organization for not doing their drug testing and new psychiatric testing very well. Well, college ranking, I'm sure, I'm very sure that Joey here will be boasting about a college ranking where West Point is supposed to be ranked number 1. So I'd like to preempt him because he'll be citing a ranking made by Forbes magazine. But you will note that the more popular college rankings in this order would be US News and World Report, Princeton Review, Kaplan Newsweek, Washington Monthly, and very far down